Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to slice the subscribe button, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, as Fran continues to swing her blade, she realizes that she may have underestimated her enemies, which continue to press her. Gripping her blade harder, she declares that she not only wants to borrow our MC's power to look strong, but wants to be able to masterfully use and grow her own unique skills, in order to overcome challenges. Hearing Fran's words, our MC realizes that he had been ordering and dictating Fran's path, but now he understands that he must only follow and assist what Fran chooses, not to choose what he believes is best for Fran. As the evening sun begins to set, we see Fran stand victorious against the initial swarm, having reached level 12 all by herself. Returning to Garrus, he's shocked to learn that Fran and our MC had just finished slaying hundreds of goblins, wanting Garrus to mend Fran's armor, so she can head back to the forest. Apparently, after slaying the first wave of goblins, Fran had discovered a cave where the goblins reside. But before Fran can dive in, our MC recommends they reset for now, and come back when they've rested. As our MC is collecting the goblins' crystal cores, they are startled by the adventurers Fran had saved, having brought reinforcements. Believing Fran to be at least D rank, Fran tells them about the goblin cave deeper in, which one of the dwarfs mentions that this wasn't here before. Deducing that the cave is as big as a dungeon, the adventurers recommend Fran report this to the guild master, whilst they stay and watch. Speaking to Donadrand and the guild master, Fran, with the help of our MC, is able to report her findings, and the amount of goblins she had slayed. But when she mentioned that none of the goblins had decided to retreat during the battle, the guild master became alerted, stating that the goblins that she had fought were most likely forced out of the cave, meaning that the other goblins within the cave must be far more dangerous. Asking Donadrand to assemble any adventurers that can immediately be dispatched to deal with the sudden goblin cave. Commending Fran's hard work, the guild master decides to promote her from G to F rank. Gathering around a mini altar, Garrus is able to instantly repair Fran's armor, charging her 10,000 gold. But due to the nature of the altar, it becomes more expensive with every repair, on the same beaten armor. Having never been in a dungeon, Garrus tells Fran that dungeons randomly spawn, being willed into existence by the god of chaos. Spawning a core randomly, a random monster is chosen to be the dungeon boss, along with the design and rewards of the dungeon randomly created as well. Before our MC departs, Garrus says that he will finish crafting the requested sword, before they enter the dungeon. As the two head to their rooms, our MC checks out Fran's newly acquired stats, having pushed herself physically, and had been exhausted through constantly using healing magic. Patting Fran on the head, our MC heads to the bath, but Fran tags along, loving baths as they remind her of her parents. Running into Nell, they have a chat, as Nell praises Fran's feat, learning that she'll be fighting in the upcoming raid on the Goblin Cave. Nell also mentions the Knights Brigade, knights meant to protect humans, but due to their captain hating adventurers, the knights had refused to help with the raid. Continuing, Nell wishes Amanda, an A-rank adventurer, and the strongest in the town were present, but sadly is investigating the mess our MC caused ages ago. Changing topics, Fran asks if Nell knows anything about the gods that govern this world, which Nell responds that she knows that there were 10 great gods consisting of the god of sun, moon, oceans, earth, fire, storms, forests, beasts, death, and finally chaos. Asking about how there is no god of war, Nell states that there used to be a god of war, but the god of war sadly was consumed by evil, attempting to rule over the other gods, but was ultimately slayed. The god of war's body was cut up, and spread across the world, with some of the god's remnants, evolving into the very first fiends and goblins, making these creatures descendants of pure evil. Realizing that Fran had fallen asleep, our MC takes Fran back to her room, tucking her in, as he personally wonders how much more he can learn about this world. The next day, Fran and our MC greet Garrus, as Garrus presents our MC with the sword he had requested. Removing the sword and in place our MC will fit snugly in the case. As an added bonus, Garrus shows how our MC can use telepathy to unsheath himself, impressing our duo. Just like that, they head off, with Garrus wishing the two the best. At the meeting area for the raid, Fran can't help but hold her excitement, as Donadrand begins making announcements. Stating that they have confirmed the base is filled with goblins, he states that their primary objective is to kill the king and queen, and then set their sights on the dungeon master and the dungeon's core. Before Donadron can say anything else, several goblins begin attacking the adventurers, forcing them to scatter and break formation. Wondering if the goblins had planned for this, our MC states that they should head in first and slay the incoming waves, to allow the adventurers outside to regain their formation. Moving closer to the cave, Fran notices several goblins back away, realizing that her new Goblin Killer title is quite useful. Helping out a pinned adventurer, our MC instructs Fran to ignore absorbing the crystal cores, until they are away from any adventurers. Making use of the Sabertooth's unique skill, our MC had slayed, Fran begins walking on air, moving closer to the cave. Enchanting her blade with flames, she begins blasting the entrance, cutting off the goblins from continuously flowing out towards the adventurers. Leaving the remaining goblins outside to Donadron and the adventurers, our MC and Fran make their way into the cave. Deep in the cave, we see a goblin, able to summon a mysterious creature. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and comment.